Hello everyone, my name is Irene and today I'm going to talk about sociophonetics and I'll give a brief overview of the field. The objective of the presentation is to give an abrupt analysis of the field of sociophonetics, which includes a wide variety of topics, but we're going to focus on the crucial ones. We are going to talk about what is sociophonetics and why it started to be studied. Then we will talk about variation, and last we will talk about production. So what is sociophonetics? Sociophonetics is a branch of linguistics that combines the methods of social linguistics and phonetics. Sociophonetics where views variation and change as the most fundamental of properties of language. It holds that in order to understand the cognitive forces of speech, we cannot look at it from a static perspective, but rather an unstable one. We have to understand that speakers adapt and accommodate to social situations in which they find themselves. Sociophonetics covers a very broad deal of topics between social linguistics and phonetics. They focus on speech production, the social meaning of particular pronunciations, perception and perceivability of sociophonetics patterns, among other topics. The field started to be studied in the 1970s when researchers saw that there is a relation between speech and social categories. First, researchers started to study vowel variation, that is determining the principle of vowel shifting. And with the time, it has developed into more branches of study. As I said before, even into speech perception, for example. Now, with the new technological instruments at our scope, methods and insight have changed to the point we also have computational linguistics. About sociophonetic variation, we all know that language varies. Some variation is just accidental and brief, which the speaker is not under control of. Other variation represents how speakers may consciously or unconsciously choose options. So this means that any linguistic being can undergo variation. Variation may be subject to social aspects such as age, gender, or social class, among others such as ethnicity, for example, but we are not going to talk about that today. Social class is a very wide topic, so we'll have to condense. What is important to know is that human societies have forever been differentiated and it has had an impact on the way we do everything. I'll explain with the British example. During the mid-Victorian industrial Britain, capitalists and proletariat started to be defined one from the other, and with the rise of social consciousness came a divergence of speech, dialect, accent. New vernaculars emerged with powerful working class connotations, and also something that I find interesting is that alongside them there was an increase of the received pronunciation, notorious of the highest classes. Age as a sociophonetic variant hasn't been given the importance it has, which is the same as gender or social class. Age is a very important dimension of our personal identities. Our age determines a great variety of things, such as marriage, driving, or the right to vote. So linguistic behavior changes whether we are in our childhood, adolescence, adulthood, or old age. We are not going to enter in the field of language acquisition because that would be another whole presentation, but we have to bear in mind that it is important to what we're talking about. Gender. Do women and men talk differently? Well, researchers started to work on gender differences focused on mixed talk between men and women. They looked at pronunciation and grammar, and in answer to the previous question, they differed in their use of certain sounds or grammatical structures. Last, we're going to talk about speech production. We have to differ production from perception. Production is how we make speech sounds, whereas perception is how we process those speech sounds. So logically, they have to be studied differently. Vowels, as I said before, were the first field of research. Vowel variation and principles of vowel shifting. Then the duration of vowels, interactions between vowel variation and voice duration, among others. Of course, one doesn't go without the other. So with the research of vowels came the research of consonants. Consonant variation, that is, transitions of place articulation, VOT, variation of laterals, rhotics, deletion of consonants, etc. So, to conclude, I have to say that sociophonetics is truly important in order to understand that social factors intervene in the production of speech, as well as the perception of them. To finish, I'd like to say that these are the references that I have used for my presentation and research. And that's everything. Thank you for listening.